Hello everyone, my name is Nikhil Singh and today we'll be discussing on the topic Religion leads to dogmatism and education leads to liberation. As can be seen from the first slide, that religion is regarded by the common people as true, by the wise as false, and by the rulers as useful. So, in a nutshell, the true meaning of religion is molded by everyone as and when required by them. For others, it's nothing more than useless and sometimes dangerous. Religious behavior may be misfiring, an unfortunate byproduct of an underlying physiological propensity, which is other circumstances is or once was useful. Now the next question is which one to choose out of the 4,200 religions present across the world, or whether to even go for any. If not chosen any, then religion can be related to faith and belief system. And the atheist would then become a person who don't believe in the process of governmental rule even. The formation of dogmatic belief often takes place in the early childhood. Since the intellect is not yet sufficiently developed in a child, he adopts a belief system uncritically. Dogmatism, in its actual form, according to Google, is defined as the tendency to lay down principles as undeniably true, without consideration of evidences or the opinions of others. Later on in adult life, it becomes a regular pattern of thought which he finds very difficult, almost impossible to question. Such beliefs seems obviously true. By the age of 14 to 15, one proclaims he is a Hindu, Christian, or Muslim, with hardly any foundation for any such assertion, sans intellectual analysis. When the child grows up, he tends to accept only such new ideas as fit in with the ideas he already holds, and all conflicting ideas seems obviously absurd. The next question which arises is whether the learning from religion is positive or negative. We need to understand religion causes several issues like discrimination, affirmative action, conflicts, and fights. Act as a tool to controlling the masses, stop scientific successes, and obstruct the use of reason, especially in a country like India, where the religion is grassrooted into each and every person's daily life. Without intellectual application, spirituality is converted into a blind adherence to dogmas and doctrines. A person attached to his views and ideas holds on to them stubbornly and blindly, in spite of or contrary to evidences. According to Brockia, it's commonly observed that relatively dogmatic views on specific issues are stubbornly resistant to change by logical argument or objective evidence. How religion create divide is evident from this graph. As can be seen that countries where religion is not prominent are better in moral and social development rank. For instance, Estonia, Denmark, Japan, France, etc. are few of the examples. So, the prime reason of existence of religion, which is considered to be the messenger of harmony and peace, is lost somewhere, as highlighted in the countries which are down in the pyramid, like Niger, Pakistan, Tanzania, Burundi, Syria, Indonesia, Syria, and so on, where people say that they are approximately 100% religious and they lie at the bottom in moral and social rank. Coming to the next question, which is based on education, what is the main motive of education? In short, the motive includes turning the negatives into positives. The motive of college, though, is of varying nature. I believe undergraduate education is and must be as much about character and citizenship as about careers and commerce. In addition to majoring in a particular subject, and in order to fulfill the purpose of a university education, undergraduate students must learn about and consider the natural world we meet upon birth, the world we make, and the means by which we mediate between the world we meet and the world we make. Education, even the best possible kind we can dream of, won't solve all the problems of humanity, but it surely has the potential to help us make the world better than it is now, and flawed education can make it even worse. Now the next question is, are postgraduates more liberal than others? This test was done on the postgraduates of US, where the ideology of postgraduates was studied and compared to that of other lower degree holders like high school people and some other lower education holders. The outcome was very surprising. Postgraduates were more liberals compared to college degree holders, who in turn were more liberals than some college grads, who in turn were more liberals than high school or lesser than that. Among those with graduate education of some form, 31% hold consistently liberal positions based on analysis of their opinions about the role and performance of government. social issues, and the environment and other topics. Another 23% hold mostly liberal positions. Only 10% hold consistently conservative positions, and 17% hold mostly conservative positions. Moving on to the conclusion. For the earlier discussion, we can conclude that education is a source of making lots of money, but learning, which is the integral part of education, has lots of shade. People take a shine at it to undertake their selfish interest at the cost of others, and in the way dilute the intrinsic value of education. From the perspective of the knowledge or scholarly opinions that students are exposed to, education are in principle empower learners with the following capacities. First is storage and recall, memorizing the words and sentences that expresses a body of knowledge and recalling them when needed. Example: the textbook says Newton's first law of motion is an object remains at rest or in motion unless acted upon by an external force. We ask what is Newton's first law of motion and expect students to repeat the law. Whether or not they understand the law is irrelevant for the subjective. Second is superficial understanding. Understanding at a shallow level, just sufficient to paraphrase the knowledge in one's own hand with their own words. Example: given Newton's law of motion, we expect students to be able to state the law in their own words and explain with examples how the law works. C. Standard applicational understanding. A moderate level of understanding as indicated by the ability to apply the knowledge mechanically in familiar textbook situations. For instance, if students have understood Newton's theory of gravitation and motion, we expect them to calculate the trajectory of a cannonball when given its mass and initial velocity. D point is deep understanding. True understanding as indicated by the ability to make connections and ability to apply the knowledge creativity and thoughtfully in unfamiliar or novel situations. Examples: if students have really understood Newton's theory of gravitation and motion, we may expect them to be able to answer the questions, describe what would happen to a coin if we drop it into a big hole extending from one side of the moon to the other through the center. E is independent learning, that is, acquiring a body of knowledge on their own, without having to depend on teachers and courses. Thus, at the end, we can conclude that neither religion nor education achieved their true purpose of their origin, and that is, they are not able to fulfill the task they were supposed to do. One might find slight correlation in both the cases, but the evidence is not substantial to warrant the equivalent. Thank you, and have a nice day.